2, 1.
Boom! And welcome to the Big Honker Podcast. Did you know?
The 5th installment of Did You Know?
From Mallard Bay. Check out Mallard Bay. They can take care of you on any of your hunting needs. Right now, they've got Prairie Bomb Outfitters and Amarillas running some specials with them. So check them out at mallardbay.com. Did you know? You want to go first or you want me to go first?
It does not matter. I can go first or you can go first.
I have some little snippets today. I don't have like one story. What's the population in the world that's left-handed?
40%.
40%.
Yeah.
Seriously? That's your guess. If you're dying on a hill and they said you've got to get within 10%, you would say 40%. So like every 1 out of 3 people you know, and that's not even 40, that's 33%. So if you had 10 people in a room.
You're giving me 10%?
I'm telling you right now, 10%, 10 people in the room, 4 of them are left-handed, you think?
I mean, is it all? If it's a bunch of lefties, then yeah, it could be more.
Do you think that? Honestly, that's your
40%.
40%. No, not even close.
10?
10% of the world's population is left-handed.
Really?
Yes.
I did not know that.
Well, I can understand. You thought it was 40.
Well, I mean, it was just a quick guess.
Yeah, it's 40. It's 10%, not 40%. 10% of the population is left-handed. Very interesting. You know, the other day someone was in here, and it wasn't you, that said there was no such thing as gravity. Birds require gravity to swallow. Did you know that?
Yes, that's why if you watch a bird swallow, if you watch a goose or a duck swallow, they'll take a drink and then they'll pick their head. They'll look straight up in the air.
Yep.
They don't have the mechanisms in their throat to.
Yes, they have to have gravity. To,
water? I mean, is it food also?
For food, they have to have gravity to eat.
I don't see how that would work though.
They chew and they do like this and it goes down.
Because like whenever we kill geese, they've got like whole peanuts in their mouth.
Well, they're just swallowing them.
Or in their throat.
Birds cannot chew their food, instead of swallow their prey whole. The esophagus of a bird is wide enough to swallow larger meals. They depend on gravity to push their food down the esophagus and later be propelled into their stomachs.
Right.
So it's just gravity.
Huh.
Okay.
But I knew that because, I knew about the gravity thing, but I didn't know how that would work with like peanuts or corn kernels.
They just go like this and it goes down.
It just goes right down. They just open their esophagus and there it goes.
Yep. What do you think is the most commonly used letter in the English alphabet?
S.
No.
T.
No.
R.
No.
E.
Yes.
E.
Yes. The second most common letters are T, A, I, N, and O.
Well, see, there I wasn't that far off in my fucking...
Well, you went 4 before you went to it.
No, but I listed top 3. You said next or T, next or S. Like I was right there. It wasn't like I was way off base by saying that.
There's 7 continents. Which is the only continent without an active volcano?
I'm not gonna lie here. I'm trying to think of all the continents. You got North America, South America, Africa,
Europe, Asia, Antarctica.
I'm gonna say Antarctica.
Nope, Australia.
Huh. So Australia is a country and a continent.
Mm-hmm.
Learn something new every day. That could have been a did you know?
Well, the continent probably also includes New Zealand.
Right.
If I was guessing also.
What you mean.
But
right.
Yes, it is. How much of the human brain do you think is water, the percentage-wise?
It matches the amount of water on Earth. That's another fun fact. So whatever the amount of water on Earth, I think it's 72%. That's also your brain and your body.
78, but pretty damn close.
See there, I'm smarter than you think.
If you take a sponge and you have cold water and you have hot water and you put the sponge in there, which will hold more, the hot water or the cold water?
So this is going to have to do with physics. Let me see if I can work this out. I
can't wait to hear this.
Well, the molecules in hot water move faster. So I would say that it would probably be cold water just because you don't have the molecules
very good
disrupting everything.
And the water molecules of colder water tend to move slower and do not go in opposite directions from each other.
I'm a fucking genius, Jeff.
I'm very impressed. Very, very, very impressed.
You can't fucking stump me.
Okay. You have your birthday. How many people share the same birth date as you? And there's 7 billion people in the world.
I'm going to say that I'm just going to go law of averages, and I'm going to say 1/365th.
19 million people share your birthday.
Which is equivalent to 1/365th.
Has to be somewhere around that. If you have a day, if you were born on the least common day of the year, you would still share the same birthday as 18 million people. I'm a leap year baby, so I'm wondering if I don't share it with 4 or 5 million people,
right,
instead of 18 million people.
Yeah.
So, anyways, did you know a duck cannot walk without bobbing their head?
I did not know that.
Yep.
But they do, huh?
Yes.
They have
Ducks
to bob
often
their
bob their heads to signify moods or emotions. At times, also used to signify flirting during the mating season. So they cannot walk without bobbing their heads. Which part of the human body heals the fastest?
Your tongue, because there's something in your mouth because it's wet and damp.
Yes.
Fucking 3 for 3.
What's the most common form of mental illness?
What do you classify as a mental illness?
I don't know. They say depression is the most common.
Well, that's what I was going to say, but I don't know if that's a mental disorder.
Where do you think French fries were invented?
Probably not France, if you're asking me.
I'm asking you.
French fries was invented in Germany.
Nope.
Fuck. The Netherlands?
Yes, Belgium.
Oh.
1600s.
You can't, Jeff. I'm on it today.
You're on it. Okay. An average person lives to be 78 years old.
Mm-hmm.
How many years of sleep will they have in that time?
A fourth. Or a third. 8 hours of sleep a day. So yeah, whatever the third is.
25 years of your life you're spent sleeping.
Yep. Not good. Not a good little sign there.
Nope. Let me see if there's anything else.
Wasting a lot of fucking time by sleeping.
Yep.
That's why Kramer did what he did. I don't remember what he did, but he had the math figured out.
He'd have like 45 minutes, but caught up to him.
Yeah, he'd have an extra 3 months on top of his year.
Jerry, I'm loving it.
I'm loving it.
Okay, last one.
Okay.
What wakes you up more in the morning than coffee?
Cold water.
Apples. High amounts of sugar that's found in apples. The vitamins in the apples also have similar effects to caffeine, thus making you feel more awake. All right, that's my did you know. So let's go with
that.
Yours.
Is your did you know? Okay. Mine, I've got a couple. So, if you had to guess, what is the amount of taxes that you will pay on $100 bottle of bourbon?
What's the amount of taxes you will pay on it?
The bottle is $100. Out of that $100, how much is taxes?
Oh, every state, everyone's going to be different because each state has different sales taxes. So there'll be a sin tax, which would be a liquor tax, and a sales tax. I'm going to say $100 bottle. If it costs $100, is that your total cost, or is that the $100 plus the taxes?
$100. You go to the store, you buy a bottle. They say that'll be $100, sir. You hit it right on the nuts.
$18 will be taxes.
$60
is taxes.
$60. So I've got a video that I'm going to play you.
Wow.
So I'm kind of cheating here because I'm bringing TikTok into this. But
well, I would have never thought that.
Yeah, it's 60%. And then I'll move on to my others.
So, as usual, the government makes more off a bottle of bourbon than Jack Daniels does.
Here is the history.
Gallon of whiskey we make, we owe the government $13.50 a proof gallon. A barrel at 125 proof is 66 proof gallons. So, every barrel we fill, we owe the government $894 in new make taxes day one. Brown-Forman alone pays roughly $4 million a day in new make taxes. $20 million a week, $1 billion a year. In your 4 to 7 years, remember recouping that money when you finally dump that whiskey, put it in a bottle, and sell it to the distributor. Gallon of whiskey.
So here was actually the video I'm going to play.
60% of the cost. If you walk in a liquor store and buy a bottle of bourbon, 60% of what you're paying for is taxes.
Pay $100 for a bottle at the liquor store, 60 that was tax over the life of the bottle. You want the creepiest thing? What's the only constant in life? Death and taxes, right? So in the year 1644, a gallon of Scotch whiskey would cost you 15 shillings for the gallon. But the British Crown imposed a tax on the malted barley needed to make that Scotch whiskey. The tax on the malt needed to create a gallon of Scotch was 9 shillings. Guess what 9 is into 15?
60%.
60%. Nothing changes.
Nothing changes.
That's what he said. Nothing changes.
60%. And again, the government, the U.S. government, is making all the freaking money off everything, every company.
So what he said in the first video, I know it was kind of hard to hear. It's a lot. The audio was clear on my phone, but it was $13.50 per proof per gallon. So there's different proofs, and you're taxed differently, whatever the proof is. So a barrel at 125 proof, that equals 66 proof per gallon of bourbon. And then he said, equivalently, 1 barrel of bourbon is going to cost you $894 in new make taxes. And then, like he said, and I don't know if you could hear it or not, but you're 3 to 4 years before you can distribute that bourbon. So you're just sitting, it's just a fucking tax machine until you get to bottle it and distribute it.
Well, that bourbon that cost $100 that they're getting taxed at $60 on, then when you buy it, you're getting another sales tax audit on it. So the state's making another 8% on it.
Right.
So that $100 bottle of bourbon is really taxed at almost 70%.
Right.
And again, the government's making all the fucking money and they don't put nothing into anything.
They're the big winners in all of this.
Yep.
Okay. My last did you know, because we're running up on the 15-minute mark. Did you know why zebras have stripes?
Something to do with protecting them in nature.
Okay, but they're black and white, Jeff. How much camouflage can it actually make?
I don't know, but that's the reason why I'm guessing.
So there was an experiment done. They wanted to count zebras. They're on the African savannah. They're counting these zebras and they're counting, and then they look down to make a note, and then, fuck, what number was I on? Which zebra? Like, they moved. How the fuck am I gonna keep this shit straight? So they would they basically do like paintballs on them. That way they could count the zebras. If it's got a mark on it, we'll keep this shit straight. What they noticed in their research is that the zebras that had the little mark on them were getting eaten up by lions almost instantly. Like they were there today, gone tomorrow. So the zebra patterns on zebras, the stripes, is used as a confusion mechanism. The predators cannot pick out just one zebra if there's a whole herd of zebras. But whenever there was that little splotch of paint, the predator, the lion, was able to hone in on that target and pluck out that zebra out of the ecosystem. So, you look at a zebra on the savannah of the Africa, and you're like, well, he sticks out like a sore thumb. He's fucking black and white. How does he ever get away from anything? Harry Carey. They all just run around. It's hard to pick one out, so it graders their chances of survival.
So I was correct then.
In a roundabout way.
Yeah.
Kind of camouflage, kind of a, just a
part of Mother Nature taking care of itself.
Funny little system. So it's hard for predators to pick out just one zebra whenever they're all in a herd. Second, you put a little paint splotch on them to count them. You're dooming that zebra to a short life.
Well, that's interesting.
I also had another did you know, but I don't know if we can get into it or not. It was Andrew Yang, and I know he's a Democrat, but he had a pretty interesting thing, and I don't know if I can find it. I don't know. I saw the video, but I don't know if I got enough to.
What minutes are we at?
We're at 14 minutes. Basically, so he was saying, the old adage was you got to appease, if you're going to be in Congress. You only have to appease half the population because that's yours, but that's not right. You really only need to appease your base. You only need to appease 10% is what it was. I don't know if I can find the video that fast.
All you got to do is take care of the people that vote for you.
Republican House members who voted to impeach Donald Trump after January 6th, how many of them made it back through their primaries?
0.
2. What happens if they let the problem linger and fester? Nothing. They can raise money, they can get votes, they can get you mad, and they have a 94% reelection rate. So
that was the thing. So he looked at so do you know, okay, this can be did you know. Do you know what the approval rate for Congress is?
8%.
15%. And he just told you the reelection rate.
94%.
94%.
Yes, that's a known deal.
94%.
Yes.
Approval rating is at 15%, but we reelect these people at 94%.
That's because the party runs who they want against them to keep the people they can control.
But that's what he said. You have to change the incentives because, he kind of talks about what you did. Like, there's no sense of a Republican in Massachusetts voting the same way that a Republican in New Mexico do.
Right.
But if you piss off your party and you piss off the people that make these decisions, well, then, like he just said, he used that example with Trump. You know, you piss off the party and you're out.
But the party's not pissed off those people. The party wanted them to do what they did to Trump. The people are pissed off. Trump's an anomaly to this whole situation. Like Nancy Pelosi, don't matter what she does, she's going to get voted in her district because a bunch of dumbasses live in California. They're going to vote for her. But if she pissed the party off, the party's going to go find someone to run against her.
Right.
Trump's deal was different because the party don't like Trump. The Republican Party doesn't like Trump. The people like Trump. So they have to take him because that's how they get us. Does that make sense?
Kind of.
Okay. Ronnie Jackson, our congressman, is going to get until the Republican Party runs somebody against him. He's going to keep doing it because incumbents keep getting voted in and voted in.
Right.
But what happened with the Trump people were those incumbents pissed everybody off because they liked Trump, and so they voted them out, or they retired because they knew they were going to get beat out. Right. So yes, he is right. It's a low percentage of people approve him, but they just keep getting voted in all the time.
Mm-hmm. Let me see if he can get into I don't know if this is the video or not.
Major problem in this bucket, and this is why it feels like we're not making meaningful progress. You could put immigration in there. You could put climate change in there. You could put AI in there. You could put poverty in there. The fiction that most Americans have been told is, look, our leaders have to make 51% of us happy. The reality is that they have to stay on the good side of approximately 10% of their party's base voters. So this tends to bring people a bit to the sides. It changes their incentives. This is one reason why America's political parties feel like they're not listening to a lot of the public. So you have the party primaries that are stretching us toward the extremes. Then you have our media organizations that are separating us into tribes and teams. You know which teams media you're watching at any moment. And then you have social media pouring gasoline on the whole thing. And if you had to put numbers on this, you can imagine the power of these forces, and they're getting stronger, not weaker. What do you all think? This is a reasonable summary? All right, so it's gotten to the point now where a U.S. senator said this, said a problem is now worth more to us unaddressed than addressed. What happened?
And then that's what he was saying about any problem, immigration, climate change, AI, war, whatever. It's worth more to the congressperson to just leave it, let it fester, than to fix it, because then you run the risk of pissing people off and losing your job.
Worthless ass politicians.
Worthless ass politicians. So
we appreciate.
Anyway, that was my Did You Know? You only got to appease 10%.
We appreciate y'all listening to us. Thank you to Mallard Bay. Go check out Prairie Bomb Outfitters in Amarillo on the Mallard Bay, mallardbay.com. Holler at us if you need anything. StanfieldHunting.com. God bless. Peace. Bye.
Bye-bye. Go check out Mallard Bay. You're going to want to book a hunt.